So you've set up your BECSys Live account, you've completed the authentication process, verified your email, verified your mobile phone number for two-factor authentication, and now it's time to add your controller into BECSys Live. So let's just talk a little bit about the few simple things that need to be set up in order to make this work. You're going to click the little button here to the right of that or a group that you've created, and this window will pop up where you can select the type of controller, enter serial number, authentication code, and nickname. So let's just talk a little bit about the things that are necessary so that you can add your controller to BECSys Live. They're not complicated. The first thing is your BECSys controller is going to need to be on the internet. It's going to be connected to the internet and using EZConnect. You're going to need the serial number of your controller, and you're going to need the authentication code. So a little bit about EZConnect. EZConnect is a feature of BECSys controllers that greatly simplifies getting online. And that's because you really don't need to go to your IT department and get a VPN set up or do port forwarding on the firewall or ask for a static IP address. You don't do any of that because the BECSys controller is constantly trying to register with the EZConnect server. And because it's initiating that connection from inside the network, it is a very, very safe way to establish a connection. And so really, you just need to connect the controller to the local area network. And on BECSys 7s, BECSys 5, BECSys BWs, you'll see a blue Ethernet cable dangling out of the bottom of the controller. Same thing with a BECSys 3 that has an internal remote communication module. We call that the RCM. It also has an Ethernet cable dangling out the bottom. Now, if you have a BECSys 3 or BECSys 2 that doesn't have that Ethernet cable dangling out of it, then what you need is a remote communications module. And that can be an external device that will be connected to the BECSys 3, BECSys 2, and it'll have an Ethernet port on it. This is something your BECSys distributor can help you with. But anyway, this Ethernet cable or this Ethernet port needs to be plugged into your local area network, and you need to have internet access from your local area network. It's really that simple. Then you need the serial number. Serial number on a BECSys 7, BECSys 5, or BECSys BW is really easy to find. It's on a label on the side of your controller enclosure. It'll be 13 digits long. The first 7 digits are a product code. And so if you have multiple BECSys 5s, you'll notice the first 7 digits are the same on all of them. The remaining 6 digits are a unique identifier, and combined with the other 7 digits, they make up this 13-digit unique serial number. Now, if you're using a BECSys RCM, we want the information for the RCM, not the controllers connected to the RCM. So we don't need a BECSys 3 serial number or BECSys 2 serial number. What we want is the MAC address of the BECSys RCM. And that's going to be a 12-digit number. Typically, it starts with the first 6 digits 000 CDC, and then the last 6 digits will be a unique number. If you have that external RCM, it's going to be on a label on the bottom of that RCM enclosure. If it's an internal RCM inside a BECSys 3, then it's going to be a label on the circuit board inside the BECSys 3. But it's the 12-digit number that we're looking for. That's pretty simple. And then you need an authentication code. An authentication code is generated on the controller, and it's a way of providing security and confirming that you have access to the controller, or somebody with the authority to give out authentication codes has access to the controller. It's going to be an 8-character alphanumeric value. It's case sensitive. It's going to look something like this, a string of letters and numbers, and it's going to be 8 digits, 8 characters long. Now on a BECSys 7, BECSys 5, BECSys BW, you can generate this through the menus. The menu to do this will not appear unless a manager access code is set. And so you need to make sure that's set up, otherwise you can't even get to the menu. So you need to make sure a manager access code is set, and then you need to log on with manager access into the menu on the front of the controller. And once you do that, you go from menu, you pick system config. From that menu, you pick communications. And from that menu, you pick EZConnect. And inside that menu, you will see 6 authentication codes. And if one has been generated already, you'll see it listed there. Or you can pick one of the ones that don't have an authentication code yet and select the number, and it will give you the option to generate a new authentication code. And you write that 8-character code down, and that's what you're going to need to connect with BECSys Live. On a BECSys RCM, it's a little bit more complicated because the RCM itself doesn't have a display. So you're going to need to connect to the RCM with a computer to enable the EZConnect and generate an authentication code. And rather than going through that here, I'm going to suggest that you look at your manual, your RCM manual, or contact your BECSys distributor. Now, if things don't go so smooth, please contact your BECSys distributor. So if your BECSys controller was manufactured before 2015, there's a good chance it doesn't have EZConnect capability. But don't worry, it's an easy upgrade that can be done in the field to bring your controller up to current standards, and it's an affordable upgrade. If you don't see the EZConnect option in your controller menu, it's possible that somebody has changed a setting inside the controller that disabled EZConnect. That also can be fixed pretty simply. Your BECSys distributor can help you with that. If you don't have a network drop, anywhere to plug that blue cable inside your equipment room, and you can't get your IT department to bring one down to the equipment room, give your BECSys distributor a call. We do have wireless options that can help you out there. In some situations, it's not real common, but in some situations, networks block outbound internet traffic. And if our controller can't get out to our server, then it can't make that connection, and you won't be able to connect to it through BECSys Live. But we have an application note which explains our security protocol and the requirements of using EZConnect to IT professionals, and they just can make a very narrow exception for your controller so that it can get out to our server, and it's very straightforward. If you need a copy of your manual or you have questions about how to get online, our authorized distributors have full access to our BECSys technical library, and you can find a list of our distributors at becs.com or by scrolling down at becsys.live. And with that information, you'll be able to fill in this screen right here and get your controller online.